Hello and welcome to another episode of the Leverage Podcast. I'm your host, John Davidson, and today we are talking real estate. It is my pleasure to have top 1% team leader, Kerry Ann Carter, and best-selling author here with me today. And she has a strong passion for helping homeowners find the right home at the right time for the right season of life to really set those roots in the right place and make their home a place where you can really thrive. Kerry Ann, thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
Oh, well, John, thank you so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. What an opportunity to talk about something I absolutely love dearly. And everybody cares about their home, right? Everybody
Absolutely.
wants to be able to ground themselves and find their perfect space. So I'm really excited to spend the next hour with you and dive right in. Where would you like to start?
Well, why don't we start with, since you are based in the Twin Cities and it's one of my favorite areas of the country, tell us what makes the Twin Cities a great place to live.
Yeah, the Twin Cities is an absolutely dynamic part of the country. Oddly, in its history, the Midwest, generally speaking, has been considered a flyover country, weirdly. Not anymore. Not anymore. It is a destination location. The climate is beautiful. Many who've not been here assume our winters are not tolerable. They're absolutely spectacular. We're known for our 10,000 beautiful lakes. In fact, we have over 21,000 lakes in the state of Minnesota. Really a
Wow.
dynamic, really incredible. We're noted for our parks and our green spaces, our water. It's a very active city. It's a very dynamic foodie city. We have some amazing chefs and restaurants in the city. And we've got a versatile makeup when it comes to the kind of environment you want to live in. We have the vibrant city scene with the renovations that have taken place in our well-known North Loop, which is a super dynamic area, beautiful, walkable, fun. One of my favorite call outs to the Hewing Hotel. Check it out. It's amazing. And then leaning into the waterways that really boundary our city from the River Valley area, the St. Croix River Valley, that is the waterway that divides Minnesota and Wisconsin,
Mhm.
all the way over to the west side, Lake Minnetonka. And the very luscious, beautiful communities, lakeside communities, Wayzata, Excelsior, and many more. And then to the core, where my office is located on beautiful 50th in France, and one of the most Googled cities in all of the state of Minnesota globally, Edina, Minnesota. And it is absolutely, I call it the creme brulee of the city. It's at the core of our city, and you're able to pretty much get anywhere in under 20 minutes from Edina. You can pretty much travel anywhere you want to in the city without getting on an interstate if you really wanted to. Our
Mhm.
first tier of our city is really developing beautifully. We're seeing some enormous attraction, so growth is very abundant. Our
Yeah.
unemployment rate in our city is under 3%. So we're seen as a Fortune 500 community. We have a lot of dynamic big corporations,
Yeah.
which is why there's a balance, I call it, in terms of the ebb and flow as we're moving our retirees into what I call a two-state lifestyle, which we'll talk about today a little bit more, because it is colder. People like to get away, and so I say Florida and Arizona are the second Minnesotas for many of our for many of our older residents. So that kind of gives you a high, 10,000 foot view, if you will,
Right.
of what we have going on here.
And I would add to that, being a big sports fan, and I've have some sports
Yes,
business in my background.
of course, the sports.
You've got the Timberwolves, who are getting closer to the NBA Finals every single year.
Yes, they are.
You've got the Vikings, which have an absolutely incredible dome. Minnesota Wild. You got the Twins. And what many people may not know is Minneapolis is a great skateboarding city as well, which is
It
part of my
is.
background. And Third Layer
Oh,
Skate
wow.
Park is one of the best known skate parks in the country. And I think I skated it for the first time, yeah, around 2019. And I remember going up to Minneapolis for the first time in a long time and saying, I can't wait to get a third layer and skate that famous skate park. So, for the skateboarders listening, this episode is relevant to you as well. Quick question
Yeah.
for you. Are you born and raised in the Twin Cities, or did you find this wonderful place later in life?
Yeah, so originally, South Dakota. Funny story. My mother is from Red Wing, Minnesota, so that's a River Valley city, and my father was from New York, and went to
Mm,
a small private school in South Dakota. I spent a lot of time in Minnesota. It's a bordering state. Went to school up in Fargo, Moorhead State specifically, and then moved to the Twin Cities in '91 to work for the Radisson Plaza downtown during the Super Bowl. Going back to
yep.
sports, it was a Super Bowl year, so super fun time to be a new entry into the city. And I've been here ever since, and I just love it. I love every inch of it. Um, I am not a squirrel. I call it the hamster in the wheel, where you kind of get caught in one little pocket. I have
Yeah.
always sold the whole metro. I love every inch of it. I always say I'm one of those people that could have multiple lives anywhere.
Yeah.
You can have so many beautiful experiences here. So it's really about what people are looking for.
Hmm.
This is anywhere, by the way. Whether you live here or anywhere, it's what really fills your soul, I say. I
Yeah.
always say making those decisions with the end in mind, which is one of the
Mm.
journeys that we'll talk about today. And what we do for a living in this beautiful business is we're helping the people across the table from us figure out what they want to do when they grow
That's
up,
right.
and how they want to live their day to day, where they want to plant their roots. That's what we do.
Yeah, well, we are about to share tons of insights based on Kerry Ann's incredible experience here for agents who are listening who can better serve those clients who are looking for a great place to live, no matter the season of life that they're in. So, Kerry, first question for you is, how can agents who are listening, when they're working with a client who's stuck, whether it's emotionally or practically, how can you help get them unstuck and find the home for the next chapter of their lives?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And I think we're sitting in one of those, the most dynamic times, really generationally in our lifetime, in terms of the age group we're working with, not only locally here, but nationally. 60% of our audience, our populace, is empty nesting and baby booming. And that's relevant because the 60% is a big number of homeowners that pretty much own their home free and clear. And one of the housing challenges we've seen is the fact that a lot of these people aren't sure what they're doing, where they want
Mm,
to go. So let's talk about that demographic first, because if I were to, I could talk for hours on this subject, but if you really lean into this one thought when you walk into any conversation, young or older, what does the end in mind look like? I use the word creme brulee. What's your creme brulee? If you could have your perfect situation, taking the money out of the picture, right? Because we can always back end the financial component to that perfect situation. Then we can work with something really what fills their soul, what
mhm.
will make you feel like, wow, if I could accomplish this and have this kind of home or this kind of location, or I want to live in the woods, I want to live at the lake, I want to live by the ocean, I want to, whatever it is you want, if you lean into the beautiful part of the conversation, because let's face it, moving and changing your life is functionally like painful and hard. We try to make it
Yeah.
as unpainful as possible, but functionally moving for people is like, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. This is a lot of
Moving's the
work. It's
worst.
just
I
really
can
hard for
confirm.
people. And
Yeah, it
I've got
is.
an incredible contracting team. Like, we concierge the hell out of that, right? We really do.
Mhm.
But functionally, it would be a lie to say moving isn't hard. So I always say life is short, because it is. And we
Mhm.
can't live the same life forever, because what fun is that?
Yeah.
So it's like bringing some humor and fun into the conversation, taking some of the heaviness and weight out of it, and most importantly, figuring out, reverse engineer the conversation with the end in mind. Like, what is the goal? What do you really, really want? Because if you can focus on the prize, right? That's for anything. whatever it is you're doing, whether you're an athlete or you work for a major corporation or you're an
Yeah.
independent contractor, an entrepreneur, whatever it might be, there's a premise, a goal. We all have them. And homeowners and making a life transition, because functionally 80% of our time, including our work time, is spent in that rooted space that you want to fill your soul. Like you want it to be
Yeah.
rejuvenating, right? You want it to be peaceful. You want it to be a place where you bring your family and your friends together. I take it very seriously. Like everything I've done as a brand and as a person is really at the beginning and end, leading and ending with our home life, because it's where we raise our babies, our children, our parents come back to. It's where we're with our friends. It's where we reground ourselves. It's important stuff.
Yeah.
So I think if people can lean into making a decision, which let's go back to 60 plusers. I'm 57 now. I'm the
Hmm.
client we're talking about. I went, like, I call it right sizing, by the way, everyone, not downsizing. Never use that word. Ever, ever, ever. Like, eliminate the word downsizing because it's not
Right
that.
sizing. I'm
Like right
writing
sizing.
right
You're right
sizing down now.
sizing. And young people, you 20-year-olds are going to be right sizing when you graduate from school. You're going to
Hmm.
find your partner and you're going to get married or partnership together and you're going to start your family or just start your journey together in your first home. You know, you're going to
Yeah.
upsize because you're starting a family or need more space, or maybe mom and dad are moving in. The point is going through the journey very optimistically. And as realtors, it's our job to partner and really hear what our client, which is going to be the reservoir of your entire future, because those people are the ones, I call it on my team the circle of love. Once they're in our circle of love, they're in it forever. We're
Yeah.
helping their mom, their dad, their kids. I mean, most of my clients now, I'm on the third, fourth, fifth journey. I'm dealing with
Wow.
clients right now where the kids, like the dad I grew up with, and now his son and daughter-in-law have their babies. So total circle of life.
Yeah.
Watching that journey and really leaning in the conversations in front of the consumer you're working with, regardless of their age, with really wanting to help them figure it out, mostly leading, by the way, with overwhelm, because frankly, they're overwhelmed with their current space. And I'll
Right.
go back to the 60 percenter because it does affect young people. Those families that are 60 plus and have raised their children and are been in their home for 20, 30, sometimes 40 years, they are holding inventory because they don't really need to sell. They don't want to necessarily be there anymore, but they're not sure what they're doing, right?
Mm.
So
Right.
when you're leaning into those conversations, you're really leaning into solution based thinking, I call it. First, what is the creme brulee with the end in mind? Like, what does that picture look like? Is there a palm tree in it? Is there a pine tree in it? Is there
Mm.
water in it? You know, what's the budget? And then you, as a realtor, are seeking it out. You're finding, I say, knock on the door of the avatar, because a lot of the inventory we're seeking out as a nation and individually in our communities, we are having to find it for our clients because we do have an inventory shortage. Doesn't seem that way, but functionally there is a inventory challenge because
Mm.
that community is leaning into specific kinds of aesthetic design, main floor livability, and we're not built for that transition really well. So it's leaning into finding, if you don't have it, I have a design, build, and renovation background. So I've been able to lean into that to help solve for re-space planning, like space planning and fixing spaces. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean you need to be an expert in that, but perhaps in the new world of having to right size people, you have a team, a subcontracting team that you build that you can go to and say, I really need to renovate this section of the house and create a primary suite and a renovated bath and kitchen. What's our budget to do that? And if we find the right product and we can package that with our lender, then
Mm-hmm.
in 6 months, they've got the perfect home. Short term pain, long-term gain is what I say.
Yeah.
So if you can't find it immediately, what's the timetable to find it? Is it easy work? Of course, it's not, right?
Yeah.
The fail rate in this business, John, really is
Hmm.
95% in 5 years.
Wow.
Not because these people can't do it, not because you can't do it, because you need to lean into the work and be
Yeah.
able to do the hard work. Because it's not about putting a sign in the yard and selling a house at all. That is not what this job is. That's the easy part.
Hmm.
The hard part is understanding the psychology of the client that you're in front of and being able to help them to the
Yeah.
finish line so they're getting what they want, and learning how to research and seek out the solutions for people. I call it, what we do as a team is we curate a plan. Curate is another big
Hmm.
word I use. And the curation of that plan will allow for an ability to, shall we say, create perfect. Like you're creating a perfect outcome. Let's say you're trying to market something and you have a 3% national affordability audience for a luxury product. We'll talk about that. Well, 3% is not a lot of people that are qualified. So, how are you going to find those people? And you're building a marketing plan to
Right.
find the avatar for that product. And it's in those navigations and manipulations of massaging, meaning manipulating AI, right?
Yeah.
Using the technology that is available to you to help and support the outcome. And that's what I always say to anybody who asks me this question. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, don't get overwhelmed because that's not going to do you any good. Focus on what's in front of you, the objective. Right now, we're talking about this. We're on a podcast. So I'm focused on the podcast. In 30 minutes, when we're done, I have to drive to Edina and go meet clients. And then I'm focused on Matt and Laura. And
Yeah.
then when I'm done with Matt and Laura, I'm focused on Mike and Jill. I just
Right.
like it's whoever's in front of me at the time. And then when I'm in front of that human, it's what is it you need and how am I solving for the problem? You've got to have that innate ability in this business, or else maybe that's not the right fit because this is a problem solving, research based requirement in order to do it really, really well.
Mm. That's well
Yeah.
said. Now, obviously, families are multifaceted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking about being a listener and being solution oriented and curating a solution for what this family needs. But it's more than just the person buying the home, or it's more than just the parents, right? And so when you're dealing with multiple generations or you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with different family dynamics, I'm sure you've come across a ton
Many.
of
Mm-hmm.
different situations in your career. What kind of advice would you give agents dealing with those types of family dynamics when moving?
Right. So high level, because you can every single story. So what I do is I reference when I'm working with my team each story, each transaction we do is a story.
Hmm.
So we're looking at who are the players in our story. Are there grandkids? Are there adult children that are moving back home? Is there a parent that's moving in because they're ill right now? Is it a young couple getting married? Is there a baby on the way? What
Yeah,
is the story, right? Is it important to be close to other family members that live in the area? Do they know they're only going to be in this home for 5 years? So they're being conscientious about the, shall we say, what they're moving into and how much money they spend because they know they're going to have to turn it in a window of time, so they don't want to overspend.
yeah,
What are the budget constraints? For young people, let's talk about young people because money is a different world right now, right? There's a lot of
right.
debt because of school. And I bring this up because it's a part of the conversation right now, this question. I have a lot of parents involved with co purchasing or
Mm,
gifting money or trusts, building out trusts to help with the affordability gap. That's a very
yeah,
real thing right now. Our 60 pluser world is probably the wealthiest last generation of longest living, wealthiest humans on the planet. That's no joke. And our young
yeah,
people are moving into a lot of debt. right?
Mm.
There's a lot more
Mm-hmm.
debt. So money
Right.
management's a huge piece of, you can't be afraid of talking about money, by the way.
Yeah.
That's got to be a part of the conversation. So confidence, I'm going to just throw that word out quick. You got to, I say, fake it until you make it. Put a support team around you that can answer your questions. You never say you don't know. You're just like, I will. Let me get some, get on the phone and make a couple calls and get an answer on that. We'll figure out the best solution for you. The point is, without spending hours talking about it, you got to know who your team members are in your story. And then once you understand that, then you're leaning into the end in mind. What's the objective and what does that creme brulee look like? Tell me what your perfect looks like, because that's going to affect the location, the makeup of the home, everything about it, right? And if you can flip your conversation upside down and dig deeper and ask more questions, you've won the day. Like that's the
Mm.
solution. It's all in the conversation. People aren't organically going to just talk about these things. You're not going to be fed a stream of content that's going to give you what you need to be able to help the person in front of you. You
Yeah.
have to be confident in asking questions and understanding that objectively what you're here to do, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the people that are in front of you simply aren't ready yet, and that's okay.
Mm.
Right? That's okay if they're not ready yet, but understanding that. You're not telling them that, you're letting them you're letting them discover that, but it's in how quickly you get them there so you're not wasting your time.
Right.
That's a little bit of innate, like I call it gut instinct, and an innate ability to, you have to be a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dance. That's what I
Yeah.
say. It's a dance of life, and you're trying to help them do it in a way that's fun and has a little spirit in it and helps them be clear. Like the clarity is there every day at the end of the day. If you're in the middle of working with a client, you want to start the day with clarity and end the day with clarity. And maybe you didn't get to the objective, but everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's really an art to asking questions that deliver the information that you need as an agent and also help the client realize what they need as well, right? Kind of have that
Right.
aha and open their mind to what maybe they weren't aware of
Right. And
previous to
I
your conversation.
absolutely. And I honestly, I really think this is a great segue to say, John, these conversations like this, even if it's by Zoom, are imperative in a
Mm.
world where our young people, no, I'm not saying everybody, but we really the world's leaning into being behind this thing. They're
Yeah,
texting, you're emailing, you're texting, trust what you type and what you speak and say with eyes and visual are two entirely they sound, look, feel entirely differently. And
absolutely.
in a conversation, what you achieve is tremendous growth really quickly and clarity and what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
One of my fears for young people is and I think it's a discussion. I mean, people talk about this every day.
Yeah.
I just hope I've seen young people that we've worked with on our team never, I've never spoken to them, not because I don't want to. They don't pick up the phone and they text. Please don't do
Right.
that. It's not a good choice. Like it's not a good way to sell real estate at all. This is a very personal business. It's absolutely necessary to have the conversations.
Yeah, and I would add that the ability to have a face-to-face conversation, as that is becoming more and more rare all the time,
Hmm.
also becomes a positive differentiator for you, right? It's kind
For
of
sure.
like in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king,
Hmm.
right? And so as these
Hmm.
skills, I have an 11-year-old son, and so I'm always, I mean, this kid has no problem talking or, or meeting people. So, but I'm always telling him, get used to talking to people in person. Get comfortable approaching people because a lot of the people your own age aren't and won't be. And so when you can, you're going to have opportunities that others won't because you have that ability to connect with folks in line or in person, I
Yeah.
should say.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the art of being able to, you need to be able to hear and feel body language and tonation,
Yeah.
because in the sound and in the body language are many answers that you'll never get verbally, but they're there if you pay attention. I feel the art of being able to read the room, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, and understand the emotional place the person in front of you is
Yeah.
without them actually saying a word is a lost art. Like, I'm not sure how to train that. It's a definite challenge for people out there, but man, if you can figure that out, then you are a light years ahead of most in the industry, because those that do an enormous amount of production do the work that we're doing on
Yeah.
this level. It's not because we're trying to hit a certain number. It's because we love helping people and we want to help as many as possible. That happens to
That's right.
translate in the real estate community into production. For us, those that are like me, it's about the people,
Mm.
not the production.
Yeah. The
And if
production
they would
follows.
the production comes organically, naturally, but it doesn't, it's not the why behind what we do. It's because we love what we do. Like, we love homes, we love architecture, we love lifestyle, we love, matching the people and the places and sharing other people's projects and stories. And we call ourselves a lifestyle brand. Like, we love sharing. I was just, I'm going to pitch it because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I met through my team member, Steph Spading, who's just lovely, an amazing young lady, an amazing producer, got her license in COVID, and she's just a top-notch gal, amazing. And her mother, where she grew up, their neighbor is now the head sales rep for a project in South Dakota, in the Black Hills. I'm originally from South Dakota. It's called Deer Mountain Village, and OMG, it is incredible. I'm just telling you, it is the future Jackson Hole. Now, the
Yeah.
whole mountain, after COVID happened, right? The whole mountain, free air space, like getting out in nature and having space became a real big need. And so
Right.
all these mountain communities, they've skyrocketed. Like, they're expensive.
Yeah.
So I would call this, without going down a rabbit hole, you're at 6250 in terms of, it's a ski mountain. It's an
Right.
original ski mountain that's been developed, was purchased and developed. You can bring your own architect in, your own builder on, as an example. So I was like, love that. We're not there to do anything but just expose an opportunity. And if somebody loves on it, then oh my gosh, great that we were able to share it because we
Yeah.
were able to. And somebody may say, ding, 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 I'd love that idea. I want to do that. Delaware, by the way, in the world of older people in the world, are
Mm-hmm.
looking for climates that are more tempered, tax
Right.
haven states. I'll just say it, right? That's important
Mm-hmm.
because they've got to stretch their money out. So Florida, Texas, Delaware, Carolina, South Dakota, there's all different kinds of states where people are considering moving. I do that. Just as many are moving here because their family and their business are here. It's not about necessarily loving on a single community. It's about matching the people in front of you with the right resources to get them to where they want to go, and being
Mm-hmm.
able to have, I have amazing resources nationally and globally. I was lucky enough to coach with Tom Ferry for 10 years. I love that experience. I met amazing people in that experience. Surrounding yourself with the people that will elevate you and them.
Yeah.
It's not about you, it's about everybody and supporting us. If everybody thought that way, it'd be kumbaya for all, right? It's about really matching. It's a puzzle, I
Mm-hmm.
say. It's a chessboard game, like which one is better. You're there to help them make the best play possible.
That's
Take that
very
back to
well said.
sports.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, another way to help people is helping folks understand the right timing, right? And maybe you're going to say, John, the right timing isn't the right way to think about it. Well, a lot of people are waiting for that perfect time to buy or sell. right? And probably now more than ever, things are up and down. Oh, are the rates going up? Are they going down? Inflation, housing prices, or even just home dynamics, family dynamics, right? Oh, I want to wait till my child is this age, or I want to wait till the job does this, or what have you.
Right.
How can agents properly guide clients who are kind of stuck waiting
hmm
for the perfect
The
time?
perfect, this is exactly, and you're absolutely right. It's a huge, most humans are, because it's an excuse. I'm never going to use that word out verbally, but functionally, when you're hearing that, it's like, well, is there really ever a perfect? There's never a perfect time.
Yeah.
Perfect doesn't exist. There is no such thing as perfect. I go back to how I wrote the book, right? Life is short. When there's an opportunity, there's a crack and you are listening or your mind is hearing something there, pay attention to that.
Hmm.
Because if you trust your gut, because your gut is right, like all of us have a gut instinct, it's whether we listen to it or not.
Right.
But if you let fear get in the way, objectively, that might have eliminated that perfect opportunity to make a decision at that crossroad we talk about.
Hmm.
So there are some repetition, there are some words that I use pretty frequently: crossroads, and opportunity, and listening to your gut, and then supporting yourself with the right team to help you make the shift or change. There's ways to do that without feeling like it's so that they understand, oh, I can do this, it's achievable. But they need
Hmm.
to know you have their back, and you're leaning into, once you understand this, say it's a relocation. There's so many examples, John, that we could use, but we got to use one. So I'm working with a relocation right now. We deal with relocation all the time. They're coming in from Illinois. It's a 3M relo. They
Hmm.
got to make a decision right now. We have 2 days to figure it out. So I took this whole city and wrapped it with a hug and gave her 5 homes,
Wow.
literally 5 homes. And we're going to buy one of them by tomorrow. How do you do that? Well, you hear what they want. You understand what the visual is, the aesthetic is, the feel is, the environment is, the budget is, the fact of tax sensitivity, property
Hmm.
taxes, schools, all of the things, the collective 2 hours of conversation
Yeah.
that effectively allow you. I never ever pull a search when I first meet somebody by their area. I pick it
Mm.
by a budget range and I lower it and I upper it, because there's always room for negotiation in
Right.
reason.
Right.
And then I've done this with the team before. Sometimes I pick a whole area. I'm like, we're just not getting there. So knowing what their vision is, I'll take the whole city and take the first tier. And that might be 500 listings.
Hmm.
But you can, if you're listening, usually when you do that, you're eliminating 99% of the options. It's shocking, but true. The
Yeah.
last 5 reloads I've done this year, I've cherry picked the list and they picked one of those homes, and it's been
Wow.
under 10 properties every time.
Hmm.
One of them was
Yeah.
two properties. And that was it, by just listening, right? And then you do the research, because any metropolitan city, we all know this to be true, it's pretty dynamic. Like something in this one area, you could recreate it in this other little pocket and it fits everything perfectly and you can make that work and the commute works. It's like, let's just go check this out. I just
Hmm.
think you should look, because it doesn't hurt to look. Like I've got 2 homes on this tour that I absolutely know aren't going to work, but it's due diligence. So we have to look at those.
Hmm. I would
So
say,
anyway,
and tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an agent, but when you say that, one thing that's popping in my head is discovering the core thing that they're looking for,
mm-hmm,
right? Because when you're talking to somebody, I've purchased and sold one home exactly, for myself, working with a great agent who helped me find an incredible home. But, there were a number of different things I was looking for, right?
mm-hmm,
But there's also that when, because maybe you won't find the house that has all of the amenities
Yeah,
that they're
but a lot
looking
of that could
for.
be fixed. That's the easy part,
Okay.
right? So you're
Yeah.
leaning into budgets and anything's fixable as long as fundamentally you got most of it nailed.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection, normally, like even this home I think I found today that'll work. It's not, they lean into, well, then I get to put my own stamp on this, that, and the next thing.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
some people want that full renovation. Great. Like, then
Yeah.
we lean into that because then it's about the negotiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think housing and people and homes, that's a big conversation. I mean, we could dial into any one of these topics for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Um, so, what I try to do when people ask me is at 10,000 feet, functionally, what you need to remember is you got to dial in way, way further into the Q&A session than is going to be organically normal to your client.
Mm-hmm.
Asking and a lot of that can't be like you can script it out, right? I could say, here's your 4-page checklist, everything you say, but
Yeah.
that isn't really, because a lot of it's about the conversation and about what peels away in a conversation, like these little stories that come out. And
Mm-hmm.
in those stories, it's like, oh, you would love this area, or you would love this property because of the lay of the rolling hills and it rolls down to the river, because
Yeah.
of something that really resonates for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess while watching agency and watching because I've been doing this for 28 years, a long time, like I'm getting older, and the world and the business have changed a lot,
Yeah.
like probably more in my lifetime. It's almost 3 decades than any other. When we look at the generations of realtors, my age group has seen a lot. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't even have an MLS when I started. We worked out of a book with photographed pictures in it. Seriously.
Right.
It's crazy.
And no
So,
one was working from home.
no. Mm-mm. And you
Yeah.
were at your closings and all kinds of things that don't happen anymore. But the point I think is in my saying that is in all of this change, we've leaned so heavily into technology and leaned so heavily into the expectation that systems are going to do the work,
Yeah.
that functionally remember this is very, very personal and human.
Yeah.
And the human component and being able to understand the emotional pieces and the verbal pieces and puzzle it together are the secret sauce to a win-win situation when you're building out your business model. And when you're building out we haven't even talked on this, your systems, which is something I didn't do nearly soon enough in my career. The
Mm-hmm.
systems and staying in touch with your people is even more critical,
Mm.
because that becomes your business in the future. And the referrals come in and the repeat business and the kids, and you're building out the fundamental roots of what is a career.
Yeah.
I don't think the industry, or I think they're trying, but maybe not so successfully because everybody's moving so fast right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much. Look at all the social platforms, and I think what they say 1.5 seconds right now to
Yeah.
gain the attention on Instagram. Dealing with how quickly we have to share a story on a listing, and how much time, and what do you look like? How are you speaking? What kind of music are you? It's
Yeah.
bananas. Like none of these things happened before because the world is moving so fast. And the youngification, I call it, of our world is retaining and taking in such a volume of information, literally
Mm-hmm.
changing their brains. Like my
Right.
brain and how I work is totally different than my 30 something on my team.
Absolutely.
I have to train myself how to communicate with younger
Yeah.
people because I don't think like they do, right? And that's
Right.
okay. But functionally, this business is stuck a bit in what is an old school way of selling, if you're going to call
Mm-hmm.
it that. How we go through this experience can't be wrapped with in my opinion, an AI solution.
That's right.
AI can support you and help do a lot of the fundamental work. I'm building an AI agent right now to help me. I have
Yep.
all kinds of projects I'm doing. I can have that little guy, girl, whatever I want it to be,
Yeah.
working 24/7 for me on research.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm going to embrace that. But so what I call is the 80/20 rule,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes 90/10 rule. You're sourcing out Steve, my partner Steve. He's helping me build this thing, and it's no small undertaking. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
major accomplishment to pull that off, because when you're doing this technology shift, it is, um, you know, a learning curve. There's a learning curve happening right now, big
Big
time,
time.
and we're all trying to figure it out, and we're all being impacted by it, both positively and negatively. And in the end of all of this, what I stop at the end of the day and remind myself is, who am I really working for? And
That's
what is
right.
my job? What am I supposed to be doing? And
Yeah.
that is how I root myself in this work every day. So it helps balance out what can be a very confusing and overwhelming. People say, I'm so overwhelmed. They have all these people. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you functionally put structure and order into each story and listen, and then seek and do the research necessary to solve the problems. That is what you do in this work.
Yeah.
It's
That's
whether
very well
people
said.
want to do that or not.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I want to get into your incredible book, Are Your Roots Right? So, but first, let's listen to a message from our sponsor, and then we'll get into your book.
Business owners and entrepreneurs will place a proven executive assistant VA for just $4 to $8 an hour, and if they don't perform, you don't pay. Imagine freeing up 20 plus hours a week by someone handling your most time consuming tasks like admin work, managing emails, scheduling meetings, and so much more. This one hire could transform your productivity and give you back the time you need to focus on growing your business. At Sphere Rocket VA, we make this possible in as little as 7 days. We'll place a proven executive assistant VA in your business for just $4 to $8 an hour, and your VA will take over day-to-day administrative tasks, help manage your email and calendar, follow up with past clients, giving you back 20 plus hours a week so you can increase your sales and even enjoy more personal time. And here's the best part. If they don't give you back 20 plus hours a week in the first month, you don't pay Sphere Rocket a dime. We've done this for thousands of business owners, and now it's your turn to see the results. Click the link around this video to schedule a demo and discover how this one hire can completely change how you run your business. Remember, if within 45 days the VA doesn't perform, you don't pay.
All right, Cari. So you have shared so many fantastic insights for agents being able to really steward the relationships with their clients through different stages of life, through family dynamics, through proper timing. And you've took on a huge undertaking this year, which is writing a book titled Are Your Roots Right? And so while I could talk for you for hours, unfortunately we don't have
I know we
hours to
don't have
talk
that.
today. But folks can learn so much more from your experience and from your writing from this book. Give me an overview about this incredible book.
Absolutely. So I started thinking about writing a book maybe 10 years ago. And it's been an evolution of note taking and stories, hundreds and hundreds of journeys that I've helped people through with, um, shall we say, a repetition in the challenges. And I've known that I want to journal and collect all these thoughts and experiences and get them into a book, but that is not as easy as it sounds. And so I got to put a shout out to Jenny Teichman. She's a dear friend of mine. I met her 25 years ago. I've been through her journey over the 25 years, moved her 4 times with all kinds of life that's happened in Jenny's life. And I brought her on my team as my editor almost been, it's going to be 2 years now. And I sat down with her and I said, I really want to write this book. And Jenny, I think I would tell anybody, I think John even mentioned he might want to eventually write a book, put a team
Yeah.
around you, because it is complicated. But if you've got something to share and you think it can help somebody or many, if you find the right people to help you put these, I tend to have a lot of thoughts and all at one time. I'm known for it. And she was able to help me put a cohesive, strong message together that's easy to read
Yeah.
and really has a thoughtful message in what is one of the most challenging decisions for people, especially those that have been in the same life for a quarter of their life. I say to people, at least right now, they say this is going to change, but we have 4 quarters essentially in our life. We have our young life, and we move through, or we're moving through college in the early, I say the 0 to 25. And then we have the second quarter where we have our partnerships, our families, our careers are starting to climb. We then have our third quarter where we're now at a place where we're like at full throttle with the career. We're maybe thinking about eventual retirement. If we have children, they're now adulting, young adulting, which is a different world right now. We talk about that.
Yeah.
And then we have our fourth quarter, which is, we're changing the dynamic of the kind of space we're living in. We're right sizing. We're maybe looking at something that has some phased in options if we were to ever, as we're getting older, meaning 80s, 90s, 100s possibly, with the care we need. So it is about the journey and about how to make the decisions and really talking about the roadblocks and why we have them emotionally, financially, and how we get through them. Answering the questions to get people to get excited about the fact that there are solutions, that the decision making that you're making can be manipulated and managed if you put the right team around you. So the theory, the entire thing we've discussed today is really crunched into, believe it or not, I think 55 pages. Crazy. Easy read.
Wow. That's an easy
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, very. On purpose. Remember, we have a second and a half. I figured for such a dynamic and stressful conversation, I really wanted to make it fun and easy for people.
Yeah.
It deep dives, but in a way that's it is consumable in a happy way.
Yeah.
I like things to be beautiful and happy. That's my whole thing, beauty and happiness. So, I mean, why have it any other way, right? Yeah.
That's right. Well, I just so appreciate having you on the podcast today. And it's such an important perspective of having your roots right. Just about all of us can remember the feeling of home, right? What it's like to be home. And just, I remember when I was a little kid, my mom always talks about this is, we'd travel all over, but every time we made it back home to Reedley, California, it was like, oh, and I could just relax. Why? Because I was home. And it's really interesting to understand how home can be something different and oftentimes needs to be something different based on the different stages of life.
Absolutely.
And so I really appreciate you sharing all the insights for the agents who are listening to help their clients do that. And I will be picking up a copy of the book, and we'll link in the description as well so people can do that as well. Thank you, Kerry Ann Carter, for joining me today on the Leverage Podcast.
Absolutely.